All right, so we got a, as you can see, we got a chewed up belt. You can see it's broken there, but also, let's see, let's get this belt off. And you can see the play in it, because the bearing behind this pulley broke. If you catch it in time, you don't have to change the whole shaft. You can just replace the bearing, but in this case the shaft wore down pretty thin, so the new bearing won't sit in place. So we got our set screw out, and we're gonna go ahead and put the puller on it, the impact, and drive it off. Let's see if this will. I didn't even have to spin it. Came right off. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. That might be too good to be true. So I gotta pop this bearing out. So now you can see how the shaft wore down. I'll show you compared to the new one, but that's supposed to be straight, the same size, 1 inch diameter all the way through. Since the bearings wore out, it was riding on the inside of this bearing, and it tore up the shaft. So now we have to take off the other side and pull the shaft through, clean up the shaft and pull it through. But all right, let's get at it. All right. All right, so now it said I don't have enough storage on my memory card, so I don't know how much video I'm gonna get, but this is the model number we're working on, a TCD 151. So we got this side off. I had to take all of this off because when they put the conduit in, it was getting caught up right here. So I had to take this front panel off to get in. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this bearing. Then we're gonna clean this shaft. Oh, that's nice. It has grease on it, so it's gonna slide out real easy. Well, let's hope it does. And yeah, I'll show you the two shafts. All right. Okay, so obviously this is the old shaft. This is what the new one, this is what it's supposed to look like. So the rest is okay, but what it looks like is the locking collar, the set screws, looks like they came loose, and instead of the shaft locked onto the inner race of this bearing, and then it should spin out here through the bearing, but what happened was the set screw came loose and those spinning, the shaft was spinning inside of the bearing, so it shaved down the shaft. So eventually this was going to snap and then tear up the blower wheel and all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and put 2 new bearings, a new shaft, get it all back together with a new belt, and let's see what's going on. Alright, so you want to make sure your blower wheel's centered. I got all the bearings put back on. It spins nice and free. You know, you want to shake it, make sure there's nothing loose. Put on a belt. You know, you can feel in here. Make sure you have more or less the same distance on the blower wheel, nice and centered. Your locking collars are tight. I'm gonna put on a belt, and let's see. We'll start up. Let's see how it goes. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and press in the contactor. We're gonna start it up. You guys got to tell me how it's running. Sounds pretty smooth. We'll go ahead and put the panels on, and then we'll check the amperage. So one thing I'm famous for is putting my blower volts and running load amps from the nameplate here next to my blower contactor. So anytime I come to do the maintenance, when I amp out my motors, I don't have to check at the on the motor each time. Sometimes you can't go by the nameplate. Maybe the motor's been replaced, or sometimes I try not to make my videos too long, but sometimes the motor, you'll have an oversized motor or standard. You see, you can have a evap standard, a standard motor 4.8, or an oversized motor can draw up to 7.6. So if you don't know which motor, you really don't know what your amp's supposed to be. So it just kicked on now. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off, put our panel back on, and yeah, so let's see, we started at, I think that was around 6:20 in the morning. $6:20, it's 8:15 now, so about 2 hours. That's pretty good for a job like this.